David Sutter from KUWB and the voice of the Plainsmen as we get ready for 2024 high school football. Will be here before we know it, and I'm standing next to our brand new head coach, Jake Chick. He's awaiting school board approval, but got announced on Monday. And Jake, congratulations. How does it feel? What's been going through your mind here in the last 24 hours?
Well, thank you very much. It's been a very busy 24 hours, a lot of phone calls, texts, emails, notifying family, trying to figure out what the next process is here, but overall super excited for it, but just looking forward to the next step as we continue to move forward here.
So let's begin with kind of a basic one. Why did you have interest in this position? You're a former assistant. You've been around this program on and off for around a decade or so, coached down at the middle school. Why your interest in this spot now?
I look at the Laramie program for what it's been, and I've been involved in different times here and there, but I see a vision that's greater than what it has been. And I think that I look at our athletes here at Laramie and don't think that we're out-athleted by anybody. I think we've struggled to compete, and I know that we can certainly bring back a winning culture and a competitive culture, but that word culture is huge, and I feel like when I saw the head coaching position available, that's the one thing I thought I could bring some change to.
So what should people know about you and what's kind of your vision and philosophy just to get started with?
Number one, I'm a family first guy. I've been in Laramie for quite some time now, so I've been involved in the community. I used to be at the elementary schools for 6 years, middle school for 6 years, and now I've continued to coach at the high school, like you said, for many number of years at this point. So I've got a great feel for the community, played at the university, and I kind of know what it's like to see our high school program be second fiddle a little bit sometimes to competing with a Division I program. As far as philosophy, again, I am a family first person, want to continue to build that culture within my coaching staff and make this a true culture change and have a good brotherhood amongst our team. As far as philosophy is concerned, I think what I can help bring to it is just a never die attitude. Okay. And I think that we can absolutely teach and control effort. And as far as those little details are concerned, like I said, I'm not concerned with the athletes, but we got to get an idea of who we are and find our identity. And I think it ultimately will come down to how much heart and fight we can create in our culture.
That kind of leads me to my next question, Jake, is where do you see the state of this program right now?
Well, clearly we've had some highs and lows. There's no doubt about that. Being a part of the staff, you as an assistant, you don't get all control at all times, so you kind of do the best with what you got. And when I look at this culture right now and where I look at where this program's been, clearly it hasn't been a winning mentality. I think we've struggled a little bit to find that way to compete when things get tough. But I certainly see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I know right now between Coach Morrison and other factors that I think we're starting to get where we want to get in the weight room. Okay. So I'm starting to see some culture change as far as that need and want to get better at being athletes and being strong. So I see just the scratch of the surface here, and I think we have nowhere to go but up. And I'm super excited at the opportunity just to get this pretty experienced group back, and again to continue just to work on culture in general. But that's where we're at.
Laramie's been mired at the bottom of 4A for a long time, moved into the middle a little bit, but have struggled to compete really all out against some of the top tier. How does Laramie make that next step from your perspective as a guy who's seen it firsthand as an assistant coach and now you're in charge of this program? How do you make that next step?
Would have been one of the interview questions that they asked, and my answer to it was pretty straightforward. I think we have to have our identity, and as I was speaking to the kids in the interview process, a lot of what they were talking about was not feeling like they knew who they were week in and week out.
Okay.
And so there'll be zero doubt as far as I'm concerned as we head into the week what our game plan is going to be and whether the kids will know that or not. So we have to create that knowledge base up front and continue to build on that.
What was the interview process like for you as a person?
Well, clearly it was a lengthy process.
Yeah.
But you go into it, things that I can control. I can't control all aspects of the interview. I can just give them the best version of me, and I'm unapologetically me. I've never shied away from those things, and I think that I went into it speaking as if it were a conversation. I didn't want to speak to something that I wrote down on a sheet of paper. I've had many conversations with people over the years in the community, my colleagues, and et cetera. And these are just climate and culture things that I want to continue to work on.
Obviously, because you have experience as an assistant, and I know you were at the middle school for the last couple of years, but it hasn't been that long. What do you feel like, and maybe you got a sense of this from the players and the parents that you talked to on a couple of the committees, and maybe even the executive committee in terms of the direction that they want to go?
Truth be told, I felt like between all interview phases that it's a completely open book.
Okay.
I have felt 100% support from Mr. Wagner as well as my family and others. I think the players just want better, and I am certain that right now we have all hands on deck. And between the kids and different parents that I've spoken to, they just want to be competitive and they want to do what it takes to get to that process. And I know that Mr. Wagner is looking at this from a culture of, it's not going to happen overnight, but what can we do to help in the meantime?
Speaking of that, what will be your next steps for you as the head coach?
Well, clearly, just heard the news yesterday, so trying to figure out a lot of those details as we move forward. Mr. Wagner's already reached out to me about trying to set up a meeting and what we need to get done, how he can support me and how he can support this program. Obviously, the next step is going to be getting assistants going, and obviously that includes wait time between school district, interview process, and everything else. But again, controlling our controllables, continue to speak with those that are currently involved in the program, being the athletes, just trying to get that word out. We've had a few people reach out on what we can and cannot do. But between Mr. Wagner, Mr. George, just trying to get a lot of that communication up front. Was speaking with a lot of our middle school staff today, came and congratulated me. I was just super stoked at the opportunity to have a common vision. So again, just continuing to build those roadblocks. A few of the parents that were involved in the committee, they were on the youth programs, coaches, and we just talked about creating that common language. And so continuing to build community members and letting our little Plainsmen want to be big Plainsmen, for sure.
Speaking of that, is there a message you have to Plainsman football fans, whether it's the student athletes themselves that are going to be competing for you or have competed, in terms of alum, parents, the community in general? Do you have a message for us right now?
Yeah, no doubt. I think whether it's me or what our team's going to bring this year, there's going to be zero question of who we are. We have to work on building ourselves and holding ourselves to high standards, building that winning mentality. So I'm going to give the athletes and students and parents and my family the best opportunity that we can to be successful. And I know that it will take dedication and it will take time to build this thing up, but there won't be a team in the state that didn't know that they didn't play the Laramie Plainsmen this year. And that, whether it's now or in the incoming future, we're going to continue to build this thing up from the ground up, and we're going to hold ourselves to high standards. And I hope that our seniors, if nothing else, will help build this bridge for our future.
Jake, congratulations.
Thanks.
Appreciate the time. That's new Laramie head football coach, Jake Chick. And I appreciate you taking some time to visit with me.
Thank you.
And look forward to playing some football this fall on KUWB.